I opened my door wide. The familiar creak, the only welcome mat I've ever owned, and the only one I could ever need. Two good kicks, and my shoes are off my feet and strewn into the corner of the tiled entryway, the diminutive hall more claustrophobic than ever. A good chuck lands my keys on the counter across the hall. The motion practiced at the point of instinct, refined to a subconscious art form. Expletive warning, by the way. If you don't like it, you can throw tomatoes at me or anything of the like. The kitchen. The kitchen opens into a small living room, a worn cot taking residence in the far corner and graciously filling the space where I had previously slept on the floor. The two rooms held almost no distinction, the only signifier of change being the yellowed tile eating into the frayed carpet. What a shithole. Peeling wallpaper, flickering light, empty fridge, a shoddy coffee table made from 2 milk crates I salvaged from the yard next door. This is definitely home sweet home. I hear my roommates make their way in to check for some good eats, though I don't bother relaying the sad news. Listening to their chatter has been therapeutic at times, though today it's especially calming. Even the angry chittering that follows the lack of food gives me insecurity. Hey, I know this is out of the blue, but I'd like to thank you all for your support and your undying dedication to this piece of heaven I carved out for myself, and for always being willing to share the food without too much hassle. It means a lot, having you guys around during my trudge through the trenches of the day-to-day life. The rats scurry in a panic at the sound of my voice, my eyes lingering enviously over the holes and crannies they could have so easily escaped to, and my lips curling into that grimace of loneliness as the last squeezed through. They hadn't even given me a proper goodbye before turning tail, the little shits. But who needs them? Am I right? Well, I certainly don't, but it would have been nice to die with at least some semblance of company. Company, that's the word. Nobody wants to just let their body rot, and in this excuse of an apartment, I doubt if anyone would notice the smell before they noticed that I hadn't overpaid my landlord at the end of the month. I sat on the floor with the pistol in hand. Don't ask how I got it. It would only serve one purpose. Pressed against my temple, it waited patiently, loyally. An hour passed as I stared at the cracks in the wall, memorizing each pattern with no room left for remembering why. Another hour passed, a third coming over the hill and making its way into my day while I stared. I blinked. I stared more. I cried. I stared more. I wait until I can't remember when I last blinked, and then wait some more. With no little effort, I dragged my eyes away from the spiderweb of disrepair and dropped the gun, half hoping it would go off by impact and remove my responsibility in the situation. They focus and shift towards the bed made with neglect, and I move with them, my sluggish demeanor reflected in the time it takes to cross that tiny room. And as I hit the pillow, I expect my eyes to close, to drift off and restart the cycle tomorrow as I had the day before, and the years preceding it, and pick up my staring contest on the new section of wall where I had left off with the old one. A new set of cracks and poorly disguised pace marks to get cozy with. I can't find the energy to sleep, to cry, to masturbate. The cracks hold my full attention. Over time, that dull throb within me turns to a recognizable dread as I rise for another day. With no blanket to entangle myself in, it's a smooth process, though a consistently cold one. One that has to happen if I'd like to survive the chill. Wonder if they'd like to cuddle a bit, I say, over a fuzzy tongue as fuzzier eyes lock onto the wounds left in the drywall from years of rodent excavation. You have to trust me by now. After so many years together, I've kept you guys fed for generations. The least you could do is return the favor with some body heat. Familiar chattering reverberates through the wall I had spoken most towards, as if in haughty retort to my request, but no more. All right, fuck you too then. There's no need to get upset at us rats. You can't afford to. Well, if you would talk to me more, maybe I'd be a bit calmer, or at least let me know you're listening. I hate feeling like you've left me. We don't know why we haven't yet. Have you seen yourself? Smooth skin? Not a strand of real fur on you. It's disgusting, that's what it is, no doubt about it. Who would ever want to cozy up with the likes of you? Thanks for being so honest. I thought it was the fact that I talked to the rats in my walls. Maybe it is, psycho, freak. We're all you've got, though. Don't go forgetting anytime soon. This is where you belong, pig. I tap the wall affectionately before I stand, tiny feet scampering away in panic at the touch. Following suit, I shuffle towards the kitchen half of the room and steady myself on the grime-polished counter. The water from the sink is nowhere near potable, let alone even palatable, thick lines of sediment permeating the glass it fills. 2 quick swigs of it and I'm accustomed to the taste again. Hey, do you think you could start pitching in some rent? Maybe just pay for some utilities, you know? The silent treatment. Again. I raise my eyebrows and take 2 more sips before setting my only glass in the sink for reuse the next morning, deciding it would be easier just to drink from the shower nozzle. It's the same shit anyways. There's no point in caring for something you're gonna kill. A lost cause is a lost cause is a lost cause. But you're not lost. You're exactly where you need to be, right here with us rats, us vermin. And you don't even fit in here, do you? No, I don't suppose. Don't forget that either, freak. With that much-needed acknowledgement, I bid my farewell, closing the door to the broom closet bathroom to signal the end of the exchange and contorting to avoid the toilet that occupied the starboard half of the room. The other half is obscured by a strip of plastic I had placed over the shower entrance. Not that it did much good in the way of keeping water contained, but for all my resignation, I can say I hold some standards in my life. At least I'm still showering, after all. The plastic barrier clings to my bare torso as I step in, bracing myself for the water that never quite heats up and slapping both hands against the tile to steady myself, trying to avoid staring into the great latrine at the center. Man, something about the undefined depth of it frightens me and stills the only sense of dread heavier than having to wake up. And I don't look away. I can't. My eyes begin to blur as I stare at the blackened edges seeming threatening, even malicious, even enticing. Frightening, but alluring. A hammerfall of ice breaks me from my muse and I yelp, attempting to hide from the frigid spray and wash myself simultaneously. Scrabbling through the sheet proves to be more of a challenge than usual, and I tear it from the bent coat hanger in my rush. The slick toga it formed as good an outfit as any other I had to wear. There's no mirror for me to see myself, and I don't really remember the last time I cared about my appearance, or even really what I look like. Just that this is where I come back to every night, and this is where I leave every morning. This is where I belong.